Good afternoon, my name is Kirsty Dignam and I'm here to look at the energies for this week in today's Monday Musings. And I can feel a real matter of fact, get in, do the reading, get out type energy, which has only just come through. It kind of felt like I was avoiding the video. There were so many insights coming in, so much potential coming in. That it actually made me take stock of what was going, and that feels like key this week. You know, when we're feeling overwhelmed from what is being asked of us potentially as we lead into the new moon in Scorpio and eclipse seasons, it's really important to take stock of what's happened and where you actually are. So I've just got over what I thought was a cold was actually a flu, and that feels quite relevant to give ourselves the compassion needed to know that there are bigger changes going on right now than we could ever imagine. A lot of, no, even that I feel you just don't get it. You just don't get it, and it doesn't matter, and that's the energy we're going to come up against this week, or embrace within us. Actually, you just don't get it. There's going to be situations that we couldn't possibly imagine what they are like or where they are going, and what feels like key is to keep bringing it back to where we are, what needs to be done in this moment to avoid this overwhelm that is almost leading to many avoiding what is being asked of them this week. Now I can really relate to that, although I am actually stepping up to the mark, and there's a lot going on. Take these off, actually I don't need them on anymore. There's a lot going on in regards to writing my end, and doing other things, which is changing how I practice, and it will change what I offer. There is going to be a lot less physically offered as I'm being asked to go back inwards and do work with the earth and with the collective and things like that. So obviously keeping that balance is key. If we can keep the balance, then the overwhelm isn't there. But it feels like for some we are using not the excuse but the reason of overwhelm to not do what we're deep down inside yearning to do, to not create what we are deep down inside yearning to create. And that comes from this you have no idea type energy. We have still, and humbly so, no idea what we are capable of, no idea our biggest potential, because I think if we did, that would become quite overwhelming, wouldn't it? So this week in particular, it's about seeing our potential in every moment, and trying not to get distracted by where things could lead and where things are going, because we have no idea. It could be like the smallest thing we download this week, like an idea, a spark even, and actually following that through. What happens when we get an idea, when we agree to conceive something, when we get an idea, when we start to create something, we go through our own process and our own change as a result, right? So what we're actually agreeing to is growing. Okay, so we can say yes to a very small idea, a new job, a new path, a new partner, a new way of seeing things, and that can literally change our lives this week. So being really open to that without the, oh, I wonder where this is going, but just, oh, interesting, and just using your nose. That's what I hear this week, really sniffing things out and using your nose. Okay, so is there anything else? There's so much. Is there anything else? There's loads going on. That it isn't ready to be seen. It's not ready to be seen. What I see is like lasagna sheets bubbling away in the distance. Oh, crazy energy. Lasagna sheets bubbling away in the distance. And, you know, if we take that dish out before it's ready, they're going to be raw. They're going to be hard. They're not going to be covering what is cooking underneath. So this week, resist the urge to open that oven, resist the urge to have a look and see what's going on, and just turn up and enjoy what you're doing. That feels like the key. Okay, so quick drink of my tea. Allowing ourselves to enjoy what is happening. You know, without worrying where it's going to lead, without worrying, is it sustainable? Without worrying, is it going to pay me a wage? Without worrying, have I got time for this? Allowing ourselves to enjoy the process and to keep that balance as well, or be prepared to be micromanaged, because even though it's very important that we enjoy what we're creating, it's very important we create joy as well. So if we are unable to keep that balance ourselves, it will be kept for us. This we would really, really, really relate to. Okay, so yeah, and I feel that as well. I feel a lot of energy coming in where it's like, oh, I really relate to that. Oh, yes, that's exactly how I feel. And that's the biggest message underneath it all. We have no idea, because on an individual, even in relation to our guides or whatever, individual perspective, this is far bigger than us. The financial concerns that are occurring is a deep healing for us all in regards to abundance and our connection here on the earth, and the control we have given to others related to this, not just our banks, but our views of abundance, our views of lack and excess and flow, our views of, I'm going to give an example. I'm finding a real poverty consciousness occurring where I live in regards to health. Not whether or not people will pay to have their health balanced as a priority, not how much they're willing to pay, but the sheer fact that it isn't on people's radar. I find that really difficult to comprehend, because it's part of my journey too, right? Knowing the importance of looking after our body, that's the balance that's coming through for me this week. So whatever is coming up for you, maybe, just maybe, you're being asked to heal it for the whole. Okay, now that's not to say you take on board everyone's stuff, but if you are struggling with your finances or struggling with something and you know other people, maybe there's something there you can build and collaborate and create together. Because the reality is we have no idea of the shifts and the transformations that are occurring, thankfully, because it would be too much for our brains to comprehend. It would be the one thing that would stop us from getting on with anything if we knew exactly what was going on all the time. More important this week to what is happening now, what can I do about it? To make it relatable. If something is all over the place, relate to it, connect to it. Why is this being brought to my attention? What do I need to do about this right now? And it may be nothing, and that's great. So you then move on to the next thing. But really, guys, that deeper connection of relating to what's going on for you before we try and read what is going on for the world. Okay, so the irony is that 9 times out of 10 they are one and the same. But once we do that, once we have that higher awareness, we're then witnessing everything. Okay, so energies this week and how to best navigate them. Okay, how to best navigate the energies this week. I've got a real creak in my neck all of a sudden. Well, it's not all of a sudden, it's been there quite a while. A trapped nerve, something getting on my nerves, something making me, see things from a different angle. Okay, so this week, anything, gosh, we'll put them to one side a minute. Anything that comes up that really grinds you, and it could be, I could do better than this, or I would do X, Y, so do it then. So do it. This week, anything that keeps really pointing itself out to you, if it's really getting on your nerves, look at it from a different angle. What are you not seeing? Okay, so the cards that came out here is the King of Wands, Crone transmutation here. This real taking creative energy and maturing with it. This card came up today, actually. And it was about taking our dreams and making them a reality. But the truth of it, behind it being the need to grow up. Now, that doesn't mean, oh, God, grow up. But it means take our energy up into the wisdom that's actually available. Elevate the view we have of ourselves. And by doing that, we then elevate the view we have of each other. One would hope. However, keeping an eye on that, there's a real difference between higher self and ego this week. The other card that fell out was the 7 of Cups. Again, the card of this morning, denial. Where are we denying that light in ourselves or another? And then we have the Crone again, the visionary. We have the Crone, the King of Swords here. Okay, the Crone visionary. So where are we denying our vision? Where are we denying our ability to create our vision this week? Okay, so this morning when I got up, and it's to do with love. It's to do with love. Two of Cups, yeah, it's to do with union of a higher emotional intelligence with ourselves and each other, but also ourselves and our higher self, ourselves and source, ourselves and the world around us. Okay, so it's about really not denying ourselves the things that we need to maintain that energy, to maintain that love of life, that love of ourselves, that love of each other. What are we denying ourselves and each other as a result by not having this union, by not creating the vision that we see? Okay, quick swig of my tea. This morning when I got up, I walked down the stairs and the dream, that side, the dream catcher behind me, one of the circles has fallen off, one of the dreams has fallen off, which is a couple now over the last few months, and I'm keeping them on my altar, wherever that may be now. I've moved my room around. I'm keeping that on my altar because there will be work to do with that. Now, that's the other thing. I've moved my room around, so my desk, my workspace, what I'm trying to create is actually in the space of the east. That feels quite important. Maybe moving the room around, maybe reshuffling the energy so that it faces a way of clarity and new beginnings. What do you need to do to bring that insight to what it is you are creating this week in particular? Okay, so best ways to navigate the energies this week. So we have the Two of Cups again that's come up, that love, but also the Two of Pentacles here. Cycles, yeah, cycles. The card underneath is the Nine of Swords, which is criticism. Now, what I feel here is, yes, others saying perhaps we're not ready, or other situations saying, well, you can't do this and you can't do that. So for argument's sake, this morning, I really wanted to up my exercise and I wanted to go for a swim. But the place where I normally swim has changed it so we're restricted to lanes, and I don't want to, I can't swim well enough to swim in lanes. I'm that annoying person that gets in the way, that is quite slow, you know, just it is what it is, even in the slow lane, right? So I felt really quite sad that I was being told that I couldn't exercise more. I actually went for a walk today, met up with a friend purely by accident, and ended up walking up a huge hill, which gave me just the same amount of exercise. So yes, our environment can be critical, and it can be, well, no one wants what I have to offer. No one is doing X, Y, and Z, or I'm putting this out there, but I'm not getting it returned. Yes, but remembering that sometimes that can be a reflection of where we are at. Are we ready to do what it is we are offering? Are we ready to be in that open relationship that we want, or do we have our doubts? Are we ready to start that new job, or are there things that we need to put in place? What criticism are we putting ourselves under? I just said that I can't swim very fast, and you know, straight away I've downplayed my ability to exercise. I don't know how I would have been in the swim pool this morning. So really bringing that back home this week, looking at the cycle of criticism in how we love ourselves, and alternatively how we love each other. By love as well, I mean connect. How do we connect to ourselves? How do we connect to the earth? How do we connect to each other? How do we connect to the relationship of money, or work, or purpose? Really looking at that, and really looking at what cycles still remain and what ones may need to be broken, because underneath we have the Strength card. And in this deck in particular, the Strength card takes the place of, is it this deck? Well, it doesn't matter. What I was going to say is the Strength card takes the place of Justice in this deck, the old place. But actually what I'm really hearing is it doesn't matter. It's sacred law. Strength, how we connect to the divine, you know, how we allow that energy to speak through us is the balance of life. Okay, so it is sacred law. So how we speak to ourselves, got builders next door, we're going to have to deal with this. How we speak to ourselves is how we allow others to speak to us. Really remembering that this week, because underneath we do have the last card from this morning, which is the Child Creative Spark, the Page of Wands. What are we holding within us that could be shared with the world if we would just step back, stop criticizing, you know, allow this next cycle to continue? So when we have an idea, when we create, We are consciously conceiving. Now, whether that's cooking a meal, whether that's writing a book, whether that's cleaning the home, whatever, we are consciously conceiving something. If we then don't do it and we sit and think about it all the time instead of actually doing it, thinking is part of the process, but not having actions, you know, you can only get so far with that. And you can only get so far with your own self-actualization. I want to lose weight, I want to go to the gym, I want to make X, Y, and Z amount of money, I want to do da 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 da. Sitting and not doing it, thinking about it and not doing it, isn't going to get those results anymore. And it is really about looking at why we are denying ourselves that. Why we may not feel we are worthy to get the self-care that we need, to start that novel, to attend a new class, to try a relationship in a different way. Why do we feel uncertain of that? And once we can find that, that area of self-actualization that needs to be held, worked on, listened to, created with even, there's a lot of medicine there, because we actually have the Ace of Swords, realization, that when we get out of our own way, that huge download that's available this week. And then underneath we do have the Death card, the end of what was. And sometimes it can be that, right, that stops us from wanting to create something. We can really, really, really want change, but it's the fear of the change itself that can stop us from creating. Because, you know, I hear the analogy of Charlie and the Chocolate Factory, where Willy Wonka says to Charlie, do you know what happened to the boy that got everything that he ever wished for? He lived happily ever after. Once we achieve what we know we're capable of, one, we know that something else is going to come in and we're going to stretch and we're going to grow, because that's part of the transformative process. But also we start to see ourselves in this whole different light. Yeah, and that changes everything. That changes how we see the world as well. And I want to talk a little bit about emotional dissonance. You know, when we see the world in a certain way and then something happens and we see it in a different way, what we're saying to our brain is, I want you to forget everything that's kept you safe, everything you've relied on, everything that's solid to you, everything that has been the foundation of your work. You know, today my desk collapsed and I had to re-glue the base, and that's what we're really feeling this week, a real wobble to the very things that we believed in, the very things that we knew to be true. And it's not to say that they weren't as part of our awareness then, but there is a great opportunity to shift it, change it, add it, bring it in, you know, take things from the past and help towards your future. Or, you know, that no longer works for me, so I'll take that out of. Real chance of magic this week, but that does come with a shaking of the foundations. And yes, underneath we have Bridget, we have alchemy, which is temperance here, because what's underneath that, I could just go through the cards, what's underneath that is the childlike innocence, the Ace of Cups that is waiting, that new connection to source, that new connection to our higher self that is available this week. Okay, so it's an ecstatic union, it's the Lovers, it is a Kundalini awakening, it is all down to choice. And what I really see here is making time, making space for that, because without that time, without that space, nothing new is going to come through. That's like a little poem, isn't it? Without that time, without that space, nothing new is going to come through. Okay, so I'm not going to look at the energy. Where am I? Okay, how are we doing? 18 minutes. Do we need to break the energies down? Well, that's going to be the flow all week. What I feel is one card, how to best navigate it. Okay, so we do have the Chariot at the bottom, which is Athena. We have that childlike creative spark again underneath this card. Okay, and what I feel is a little bit of a headache, like the same message banging on and on and on, you know, and it's trying to get it through the mind. We have the Chariot card here, and it is very much about being the warrior for yourself, driving yourself forward, because the card next to it is the Five of Pentacles, manipulation. Now the Five of Pentacles is that card where there's no hope, nothing's changing, we're poverty stricken, you know, we're wounded, we're injured, and that's the key. We are wounded and injured by our own poverty-stricken consciousness. So this week, it's not to say that these things aren't happening. It's to say, choose where your focus is. How can you take what's in front of you and use it to move you forward? And there is a lot of self-work here, potentially. You know, it's up to the individual at the end of the day, but there is a higher energy one way or another pulling the strings here. So trusting the process as well, and recognizing there's only so much you can do in each moment. Coming back to that, we have no idea of what's actually shifting and changing, and the potential that's out there goes beyond. So really bringing it back, and what can we do with what is in front of us, one step at a time, doing our bit. Okay, so, and that's where we'll come to the individual days of the week. By recognizing this whole process all week, and then bringing it back to what can we do in each individual moment, that's when we can look at it on a day-to-day basis, which feels like key. Look at it on a day-to-day basis. Days change, right? Things shift. My sister has a beautiful way of saying, all I need to do is get through today. And it's so right. It's so right. It's the simple things. Get through this minute, get through this hour. You know, and what I feel is almost like the, I think it's the Alcoholics Anonymous, the AA, you know, get through this minute, get through this hour, get through this day, you know, and it is that almost that addictive energy, that tendency to fill the gaps with something because we feel like we need more of something, that we're lacking with something, but actually really looking at that and this is enough, I'll do this and this is enough, and then just giving ourselves space. I was going to say our time space. Okay, right. Energies this week, how to best navigate them. I feel like I want to just keep looking away, averting my eyes. So let's do this. Let's really look at it. Okay. So we have the Tower card at the bottom, and it's Pele, and it's the Purifier. And then underneath we have Judgment, which is the Great Void on this deck. So, yeah. Oh, there's another card sneaking underneath it. I think it's the Knight of Pentacles, but again, it doesn't matter. It's a Maiden of Beauty, and it doesn't matter what stage, thank you. It doesn't matter what stage this creation process is that you're at. It's still a Maiden of Beauty. It's still a potential of beauty, and really recognizing that. So if you find you have spaces where there isn't anything at the moment, that's okay. Going into that and looking at any judgment that you may have about going into the belly of your own potential this week and allowing that change to come through. So I was going to do a daily basis. Monday, wow, oh gosh, you just couldn't. Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and to Sunday. Overall. Okay, so overall we have the Queen of Cups, the Mother of Perception, and it is very much key this week how you choose to see the process that is occurring around you and within you, because it's a big shift. It's a big emotional shift, and I can almost see like waters breaking of our own psyche this week, just like, oh, marvelous, marvelous, marvelous. Now, the reason I say you just couldn't when I pull the cards out is they are practically all the same cards that we've just dealt with, and that is going to be key. It is looking at what's in front of us and the overall message this week, and then looking at what's in front of us and the overall message this week. So looking at the bigger picture, looking at the smaller picture, bigger picture, smaller picture, recognizing the smaller picture is part of the bigger picture. So those little steps that you feel aren't making a difference really, really, really are. And believing in that, and that's the key, believing in it, believing in yourself and your vision here, the mother perception, believing in your ability to conceive, gestate and deliver what is being asked of you this week. So Monday we do have again the Crone, the transmutation, the King of Wands, and pretty self-explanatory, right? Just do it. Just get in and do what you can do. What is being asked of you in every moment here? Because that's what gives us this regal feeling of sovereignty. I've achieved something because I felt like doing something. I got up, I did it, and it's done. On that level, yes, there will be more to do. Of course, there's always more growth, but recognizing that it starts in every small step is the biggest change we can make this week. On the Tuesday, we have that denial, that 7 of Cups here. Now, when we see our potential, we start to see all these different options in front of us, and what we do is we separate them. Oh, okay, so I'm really good at this, so I'm going to go and do this. I'm really good at this, and I'm going to go and do this. What I'm really seeing for the Tuesday is about bringing them all together now as one, because what we're really good at doing is ourself. All these other things that we do, they are branches of who we are. But if we can do ourself, if we can stand in ourself and listen to what we need to do that, it's going to bring everything together rather than denying ourselves. That's what I really feel on the Tuesday. What are we actually denying ourselves? By separating everything that we do, or separating all our options, can we not have them all together in one place? Can we not find one central theme that runs through them all? On the Wednesday, it suggests yes, we can, because we have the Queen of Swords and the Ace of Swords. Gosh, what beautiful, beautiful energy. Makes me quite excited, as you can tell. So we have the Mother of Creativity here, the Queen of Swords, and she's so chilled with everything that's coming through, that everything that has to be created. She's just like, yeah, it's part of who I am. Why wouldn't I want to do this? Why wouldn't I want to share this light with the world? And the Ace of Swords is like, of course, this is me. I'm just being asked to share me. This idea that I have is specific to me. And if I share it, it will help me realize who I am. And then I'll have more ideas that are specific to me that will help me realize who I am. And the more I realize who I am, the more ideas about who I am will come in. And yes, that will bring us more growth, more opportunities, more creative inspiration this week. On the Thursday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, yes, on the Thursday. So it's about really keeping that balance on the Wednesday as well, because on the Thursday we have the 2 of Cups again. So on the Wednesday there's 2 cards, the Queen of Swords and the Ace of Swords. Being very strong in our mind, being very adamant with ourselves that we are worth creating the ideas that are coming in, and keeping that balance. Because on the Thursday we have the 2 of Cups again. You know, how many times can I talk about this card? How many times can we talk about love? Me personally, lifetimes, forever. Because it's so necessary for change. Love is so necessary for change. And if you'd asked me 10 years ago if I'd be talking about this, I would have kind of laughed. I saw love as a chemical reaction, and it still is a great chemical reaction. It's a, you know, love is oxytocin. It's the hormone. It helps childbirth. It helps deliverance. Okay, it helps us create spiritually, physically, mentally, emotionally. On the Thursday, what do you need? What do you love? Connect to that, because it's going to really help this growth, this shift, these changes. On the Friday, again, 2 of Pentacles. Now you saw me shuffle the cards, right? 2 of Pentacles, cycles, as above so below here. Taking that time, keeping that balance, our own healing as well, and recognizing creativity and actually creating something is healing. It is so healing, because when we create something, we see our purpose, we see another side of ourselves. You know, it inspires us to do something else, and what that does is help us grow, helps us heal. Okay, so when we're sharing this energy, however we choose to share it, video, writing, cooking dinner for our loved ones, going for a walk and smiling at somebody, however we choose to share ourself comes back to us. That snake that eats its tail, that healing that is available, it will help us to shift our own cycles. And recognizing as well on the Friday where we are in our own cycle. So if we're thinking, actually, today I really feel like I need to go within and just take time for me, you're sharing with yourself. It's still that sharing energy, right? It's not denial, it's flowing. Really recognizing where you are in your own cycles as well, which feels key on a much larger scale, but that's more of a message for me as well, or perhaps for you guys. There's an awful lot coming up about female cycles. Really recognizing where you are in your cycle, not just manifesting in regards to the moon, but manifesting where you are in your cycle. So if you're feeling really want to go in, you're in your winter. Yeah, if you're feeling like I want to splits the house, and you're in your spring. So are you going to plant bulbs in the winter? Are you going to plant bulbs in the spring? You know, knowing where you are in your cycle in regards to your own creativity, and really respecting the sacredness of that and listening to that. I don't feel like sharing today, so go within and allow time for a new download to come in. Make space, make time for that healing that needs to occur for when you are ready. Okay, so on the Saturday we have Maiden Revolution. We have the Knight of Wands of fire. So we've gone from that young energy by the end of the week. By the, I think that's roughly when the new moon may be. But again, totally only relevant depending on your own cycle. We can talk about manifesting with the moon, but the moon's full. We think it's a great time to manifest, great time to put out what we want, but actually we're in our own winter. That's not to say don't manifest, but really look at the deeper crone-like transformations you will be manifesting, uniting our cycle with the moon. Okay, uniting ourselves with our collective. You know, is this a good time to actually be asking for X, Y, and Z? Is it a good time to ask for more work when physically I'm feeling a little bit you know, really respecting creativity for the sacred process that it is by the Saturday brings that real revolution. Revolution, that's what I wanted to say. Brings in that real okay, so it's a little bit deeper than I thought, but it's not something I can't do, and actually I'm being asked to be part of this. It brings in that maturity that is needed by the end of the week. And on the Sunday we have centering, which is the Two of Wands here. Just gorgeous, using our own light, our own creativity for ourselves as well. Okay, so I'm going to share something here. Healers, yeah, how often do you spend time healing your own energy? Very, very important. Not only one, because it's keeping you clean, it's keeping you clear as a vessel for healing, but also it isn't until you share your own healing that you can realize where things may have grown without you even realizing. Writers, how often do you read your own words and listen to your own guidance or wisdom in the words that you share? You know, once you do that, you may realize that your style has changed. We get that by centering, we get that by balancing, we get that by really connecting to what we create, experiencing it. Really experience who you are as a creator by sharing with yourself what you're creating. And then we have the Four of Pentacles, which is boundaries here, okay? And I would say throughout the week, it's boundaries with everyone and everything, ourselves included, really looking at why we're not taking that time to create, really looking at why we're not taking that time to go within, really looking at our own view of boundaries as well this week. I feel like there's something more to the boundaries card because I can feel my own stories coming in with the boundaries. So when we feel that, when we're aware of that this week and it's our own stories that are coming in, what do we need to do? Have compassion. Three of Cups and the Six of Cups. And the Five of Cups. So knowing that we have a real cleansing that is occurring. Okay, when our own stories come in, having compassion with that in the Three of Cups, we're changing. Things are shifting. We are starting to deliver. Just by knowing something is our story, it shifts. It's like we've seen it. It's like, oh, okay, you've seen me, spotlight, now what do I do about it? We have compassion and the Six of Cups. Some childhood, not injuries, not wounds, some childhood fun and embodying needed this week to really just help us through this process. Yeah, anything else on that I can see? What are we, 34 minutes? I don't want to worry about how long something takes. That's the feeling I'm getting. So I looked at the clock and thought, I don't want to talk too long because people might not have time, or I know you can get really quick messages out there from people, and I respect that time is sacred. But in that respect that time is sacred, I also respect that things take as long as they need to take. And that feels really poignant this week, respecting that our time is sacred. But also the best way to do that is to have compassion with ourselves and realise that things take as long as they take. So underneath everything, whether it's healing, whether it's creating something, whether it's relationships, regardless of what is occurring, underneath everything is a higher energy. Underneath everything is a journey that you are already walking. Underneath everything is a beginning, a middle, and an end. This too will pass. Okay, which means the things that we're really enjoying one day will pass. The things that we're not really enjoying will pass. And that just gives us that, I'm going to take time because this is sacred. I'm sacred, time is sacred, and it's going to take as long as it takes this week. So I want to just pause and really take stock, and that's what time allows us to do, to take stock of where we are and what's in front of us. So what is in front of us? Now I really feel that in my root chakra, like a new buzzing connection. Oh, my whole computer just flickered there. What's in front of us? A new way of connecting to our root chakra, to our worth, to our physical body, to our feminine, to the earth, to each other, to our sexuality, to our healing, to our kundalini, to our ability to create. That's what's in front of us this week. And in regards to the cards, we have no major arcanas. I almost feel like children go out to play. Like the earth is just like, just go and discover. Just go and have fun. Just go and discover. There's no major arcanas here, but that also then means that it's in our hands, right? So we can want freedom. We can be that child that's like, oh, I just want to do. And the universe is like, okay, so do it. I'm like, what? So it's up to me. And that can be really quite poignant this week to keep that balanced, So we do have 1, 2, 3 fire cards, which is beautiful. That's that moving forward. And it's the King of Wands, the Knight of Wands, and the Two of Wands. Really balancing that creative process. Knowing that actually what you're doing in that moment is all you are capable of doing in that moment. Being aware of the bigger picture, but knowing that that will come just by doing the small things in every moment. And really centering in that. Embodying the process, right? Embodying the creativity, the creation for what it is, rather than trying to get it finished. Now, I can really relate to that, but also like when you're in a relationship and you want to be at the end line with the house, with the children, with the da-da-da-da-da, that's great for you to work towards, but where are you now? What do you need to do now to center yourself and remain aligned with that? So then we have 1, 2, 3, 3 cup cards. Again, beautiful, beautiful balance here. Deliverance, celebration. We have the Queen of Cups. And this is where I almost want to go sleep and snuggle up and be like, it's going to be okay. And that's what I really feel. It's going to be okay. And of course, the moment I say that, I can feel my root chakra really, really opening. And that is that compassion that's needed this week, regardless what's happening. It's going to be okay. You've got this. It's going to be okay. So we have the Queen of Cups, the 7 of Cups, and the 2 of Cups here. So when things might feel like they're a little bit too much, or they're a little bit confusing emotionally, or hard work, that's what I feel. Endurance, the 7, hard work emotionally. It's about remembering that's time to take for you, to connect to what you love, to nurture, to mother, to really feed yourself as this individual that is giving so much as well. Okay, really connecting emotionally to what you love. You know, it doesn't matter what we do as a job, it's who we are. So if we love our work, we actually love who we are. If we don't love our work, how much do we love ourselves as a result? And vice versa. So really connecting to the beauty of who you are, and not denying yourself or others that. So we then, I really feel that clench up. Okay, so what's that? It's the heart this week. Okay, it's the heart. So it's about really uniting the heart and the root chakra, recognizing the worth of our desires. Yeah, really, really feel that. And my eyes are drawn to a empress picture that I painted. Get out in nature. See yourself through the eyes of Pachamama, and there'll be no doubt in your mind, because really we have no idea the love that is there for us and the love that we are capable of. Or maybe we do, and that's what makes us hold back, right? Anyway, I digress. Or not. So we then have 1, 2... Okay, so we have 2 pentacle cards. It's the one suit. We have 1, 2... Yeah, every other suit. Hang on, step back. So I'm getting confused energy in regards to the physical. That's what I'm doing. Getting confused energy in regards to physical steps, money, body, capability, all of that. So let's, every time that happens this week, take stock, recheck what is going on. So, okay, we're going to put them to one side. Put our emotions to one side. There are 3. Put our drives and desires to one side. There are 3. And that's where we see actually there is less physical. What do I want to do? Physical actions, responses, not quite sure, but there is also less mental energy here as well. So we're not in the 3s, but we are in the 2. So it's recognizing that they're uniting. We need to unite our physical actions with our mental actions this week in order to move forward. The creative energy is there, the expressive flow, the love is there, but actually it's our mind and our body that needs a little bit of chimmying up this week, because they're related, right? What we think, we become. To an extent, what we become, we think. Okay, so no, there's more to that. That's where almost the confusion actually is. What am I thinking about this that's actually making this happen? Sometimes it isn't related to that at all. So the 2 cards that we have, the Mother of Creativity and the Ace of Realization, knowing that there is that higher energy that is not manipulating the situation but guiding us almost, and trusting in that this week is the shift that's going to happen physically. And then taking time to be with that higher energy, putting in the boundaries necessary in order to be held in these cycles. There's a lot changing, a lot shifting. I want to say we are becoming our potential, but there's more to it than that. So what I'm going to do is put these here. My eyes are being drawn to Isis, the goddess on the front of the deck. That higher energy that's calling us, that feminine energy that's calling us, but no. So let's put our feet on the ground. Okay. Yeah. So when I was shuffling the deck, what I heard was, what do I actually want clarity on? What is it I'm feeling is missing in the reading? And the cards that came up were the Maiden Beauty again. Okay, so there's that extra pentacle there. Okay, recognizing no matter what stage we are at, it's part of the whole, and it's beautiful, and it's part of the whole creative process, and it's just as valid as any other stage. And then we have Kuan Yin, the Empress. Now this card was actually upside down, so it is about seeing ourselves. You know, my eyes were drawn to Isis. It's about seeing ourselves as the gods and goddesses that we are, as the creators that we are. So there was confusion coming through in regards to what we think we create, and what I really feel now with that is almost like a punishment, almost like a judgment on that. So I created this, did I? That's that lack, 5 of Pentacles type energy that's manipulating us. Step back, really see what's going on, really see what is occurring, and really take stock, because it may not be that you created the situation, but it could be that you're being asked to create a different one. Okay, and then seeing the beauty in what is occurring in order to get you to step up and do what it is you came here to do. Okay, and then do it already. Have a wonderful, wonderful week. Oh, I'm being guided for one more. I can't get it out of my head. Yeah. Okay. Crow woman, sacred law, strength, justice. Okay, really, really, there is a lot going on that we literally do have no idea about for reasons that are unknown to us right now. But what we are being asked to do is to create a different type of world, to see the beauty that is going on around us and to become that balance that is needed. Okay, so have a there's still one more. So we haven't had her. Okay, we've had the we haven't had the Queen of Pentacles, but we have had Kuan Yin, and we've had the King of Pentacles, we've had Kuan Yin, but we haven't had the King of Cups. I really feel that in my third eye. Really, really feel that in my third eye. We finally got the King of Cups, and it's the Crone Resurrection. Okay, really seeing ourselves, our life, the beauty way, the wisdom that is within us in everything that we create, and taking responsibility for that now. Not denying ourselves and the world what it is we came here to do. Take care. Have a wonderful, wonderful week.